ערב שבת קודש, פרשת צו, שבת הגדול. ספר ויקרא was sponsored לעילוי נשמתו הטהורה של רבי ישעיה בן לורה, סקה, זיכרון עליו השלום. Was donated by his children. את הקדוש ברוך הוא bless them with all their ברachot, and they should have a lot of nachat from all their children. This week, Parashat Tzav and Shabbat Hagadol was sponsored for me by the Hagaddah, by the Henen family. Let's HaKadosh Baruch Hu will bless all of them with bracha v'atzlacha in all their doings, and they should have a lot of nachat from all their children and grandchildren.
Recording in progress.
This week's parasha is also Shabbat Hagadol. And we have to understand why this Shabbat is being called Shabbat Hagadol. The two, Maran Bet Yosef and the two, both of them, started the halacha that this Shabbat שלפני פסח, קוראים אותה Shabbat Hagadol. And immediately the Bach attacks Maran Bet Yosef, and he says to Maran Bet Yosef, Maran Bet Yosef, usually you bring only halachot in Shulchan Aruch. You don't bring ideas. So what halacha we are learning from the words that you wrote? Shabbat שלפני Pesach, קוראים אותה Shabbat Hagadol. This is the question of the Bach. And the other mefarshim as well. And we will see later the answer. We have to understand, first of all, why it's called Shabbat Hagadol. On Shabbat, before Pesach, Am Yisrael did something. Borei Olam said to Moshe to tell Am Yisrael, on the 10th of Nisan, everyone should take a sheep and will shecht the sheep for Korban Pesach. The day at that time that was Yud Ben Nisan happened on Shabbat, because Am Yisrael went out of Egypt on Thursday. So Yud Nisan was at that time Shabbat. So Am Yisrael, they took the sheep, they tied it to their bed in order to shecht him. The Egyptians, they asked them, how come you are taking this sheep? What's the purpose for? So Am Yisrael answered to the Egyptians, we are taking the sheep to shecht him, and he will be shechted not only on the ground, he will be also shechted in heaven. What does it mean? Because the Egyptians believed in the horoscope, and the luck of Nisan is a sheep, and they believed in the sheep, that this was their God. They didn't worship the sheep. They worshiped the image of the sheep. And Am Yisrael told them, we are going to take the sheep and we are going to nullify not only the sheep, but also the luck of the sheep. Ask the Bach a question. How come the Egyptians asked this time, Am Yisrael, why you are taking a sheep? What you are taking a sheep for? Am Yisrael, when they came to Egypt, they were shepherds. They ate all the time only sheep. So why suddenly today they are asking them, why do you eat a sheep? Why you are taking the sheep for? The answer is that Am Yisrael told them that this time is not as usually that we are taking a sheep to eat. This time we are taking the sheep to nullify your avodah zarah. We are going to nullify your luck. Nevertheless, we have to understand. So this was the idea why it's called Shabbat Hagadol. Because the Egyptians heard what Am Yisrael is doing. They are taking their God and they want to nullify him. And they wanted to hit the Jews. They wanted to kill them. But what Borei Olam did was that he brought on them a disease that they couldn't do anything to Am Yisrael. Therefore, this Shabbat is called Shabbat Hagadol. But the question is, Shabbat Hagadol at that time was on the 10th of Nisan. Usually, when Am Yisrael have a holiday or an important day, it doesn't go according to the weekday. It goes according to the calendar. Aleph, Bet, Gimel. Yud Nisan should have been the day, not the Shabbat before Pesach. It happened at that time at Yud Nisan. So when Yud Nisan falls, you should have a special day. Why they picked Shabbat Hagadol? Explains the Levush. The reason is because the whole Ness here was because of Shabbat. What has to do Shabbat here? The Egyptians knew that Am Yisrael are keeping Shabbat. Even though they were not obligated yet from the Torah to keep Shabbat. But Moshe Rabbeinu, he spoke with Paro to give Am Yisrael one day off. And this was the day of Shabbat. And they rested on this day. They didn't do work on this day. And now the Egyptians see, and usually they didn't see Jews with sheep on Shabbat. And this Shabbat, they see that all the Jews are holding a sheep, walking with a sheep on the street. So therefore, they came and they asked the question, what you are taking the sheep for? And from here started the whole conversation. That Am Yisrael told them that this time we are taking the sheep in order to shecht him and to nullify the avodah zarah, your avodah zarah. And Am Yisrael also worshipped avodah zarah, the same what the Egyptians did at that time. And therefore, Borei Olam told them to shecht him and to nullify him. And since no one of the Egyptians could have attacked the Jews at that time, so therefore a nes happened to Am Israel at that time. Therefore, it's being called Shabbat Hagadol. I want to add another thing, what happened at that Shabbat. That when Am Israel told the Egyptians that we are going to take the sheep, we are going to shecht him and to sprinkle the blood on our doorpost, because all the firstborn are going to be killed. All the firstborn Egyptians, all of them came to their parents, to their fathers, and they told them, tell Paro to send Am Israel back. Let them go away. Why they are staying here? You want us to be killed? And the parents, the fathers, they didn't listen to their children. So the children attacked their parents, and they killed a lot of their parents. And this is what we are saying in a perek which is called Hallel Hagadol. We have a regular Hallel, and there is also another Hallel which is called Hallel Hagadol. Hallel Hagadol is a perek in Tehillim that starts with the words Hodu Lamonai Ki Tov Ki Olam Chasdo, Ve'oseh Niflot Gdolot Levado Ki Olam Chasdo. 26 Ki Olam Chasdo, we are saying. This is called Hallel Hagadol. In this Hallel Hagadol, we have a pasuk, and says, "Lemakem Mitzrayim bi bechoreihem ki leolam chasdo." The author, David HaMelech, didn't say "Lemakem bechorei Mitzrayim," the one who hits the firstborn of the Egyptians. The pasuk didn't say so. The pasuk says that Lemakem Mitzrayim means the Egyptians were hit by the Bechorim. And this is one of the nisim that happened at that time, that the Egyptians joined Am Israel against Egypt. Means the firstborn, they joined Am Israel to send Am Israel out against their parents, that they were Egyptians. And therefore, this Shabbat is called Shabbat Hagadol. What halacha we are learning from this perek, from this halacha that Maran Bet Yosef said? Explain the Chida that Maran Bet Yosef wanted to say that this Shabbat we are going to, everyone, instead of to bless his friends, Shabbat Shalom umevorach, or Shabbat Shalom, this time we should say one will say to his friend, not Shabbat Shalom Mevorach, but Shabbat Hagadol Mevorach. Till here about Shabbat Hagadol. Now we will speak, as I mentioned last time, some ideas about Haggadah Shel Pesach. In the beginning of the Haggadah, we are starting and we are saying, Halachma Anya di'achalu avahatana ma'ar'ad Mitzrayim. This is the bread of affliction that Am Israel ate in Egypt. The question is here, why Bala Haggadah started with Aramaic? Why this paragraph starts with Aramaic? We have several answers. One answer is that, I tell you the Kabbalistic answer is that in order that all the mazikim will not come also to our table. even though, because we said, Kol dichfin yetev v'yichol, we invited everyone. And the mazikim, they also might come. And they will come. Therefore, we are saying it in Aramaic, because all the mazikim, the Samach Mem and all his friends, they understand Hebrew like the angels, but Aramaic they don't understand. So in order that they will not come, the author of the Hagaddah started the Hagaddah, and this paragraph, he wanted to say it in Aramaic. Even though you will ask me, what's the problem? We have this night is called Leil Shimurim. This is a night that is being kept. Am Israel is being kept in this night, that they will not be attacked at this night. So how come we are afraid of the mazikim? The answer is, okay, let them not attack us. But who wants to sit with such mazikim on the table? And since we invited everyone, they might come. This is one answer that was said while saying it in Aramaic. Another explanation was said by Baal Masei Hashem, that in order to make a difference between this paragraph and all the other paragraphs in the Hagaddah, that this paragraph is an addition to the Hagaddah. Means the original Hagaddah didn't have this paragraph. So in order to separate this paragraph from all the other paragraphs, they started this paragraph in Aramaic. And a proof to this is that, that Hagaddah has to be said a part on the matzah and a part on the cup of the wine. In other words, the wine has to hear the Hagaddah shel Pesach. So in order to show that this is not a part of the Hagaddah, after Kiddush, we don't pour immediately the second cup. We pour the second cup only later, when we start to say Manishtana. And we don't pour the wine when we are saying the Halach Ma'anya. There is another explanation that was said by the Kolbo and other Mefarshim Rishonim also, that this was the language that people understood at that time. So in order that they will understand what we are saying this paragraph in Aramaic. But what bothered me was, why only this paragraph to start with Aramaic? Shouldn't we say the whole Hagaddah in Aramaic if they don't understand Hebrew? Why only this paragraph? So I wanted to represent a new explanation. Maybe, since we are saying, and this is the minhag, בכל דור ודור חייב אדם לראות את עצמו, to see himself or to show himself as if he himself went out of Egypt. בכל דור ודור חייב אדם לראות את עצמו כאילו הוא יצא ממצרים, means to say that during the first part of the Hagaddah, a person has to feel as if he is in Egypt and he went out of Egypt. So in order to give you a feeling of Galut, we started to speak the language of Galut. And this will help to make a Galut environment when we start the Seder. We have later on in the Hagaddah, we have the story with Rabbi Eliezer and Rabbi Tarfon and Rabbi Eliezer ben Azariah, that they were sitting in Bnei Brak to do the Seder. And this is something very strange, because Rabbi Akiva, he was a student of the rabbis there. Rabbi Akiva is a student of Rabbi Lezer ben Azariah. He is a students. Usually a student, he goes to the rabbi. Not rabbis are coming to the house of a student. And especially Rabbi Lezer ben Azariah, that he himself said that no one should leave his house on a holiday. He should stay home on the holiday. And he himself is sitting by Rabbi Akiva in Bnei Brak. Explains Baal Aruch HaShulchan. He has a Hagaddah which is called Hagaddat Leil Shimurim. And he explains that it is true. Usually, student goes to the rabbi to learn how he makes the seder. Not the rabbis are going to the student. But here, Rabbi Akiva was a special man. And therefore, they came to him. This seder took place in Bnei Brak because it was in the time of after destruction of Beit Mikdash. All the rabbis, they were broken from the destruction of Beit Mikdash. And we have a story that shows it. The end of Masechet Makot that we learned this year, the story is that they were walking up to Har HaTzofim, and all the rabbis were walking also up to place of Beit HaMikdash, and they saw a fox is going out mi Beit Kodshei HaKodashim. The rabbis started to cry. Rabbi Akiva haya mesachek. Rabbi Akiva was laughing. Ask Rabbi Akiva, the rabbis, why you are crying. So they told him, Kodesh HaKodashim, no one can enter. And here we see a fox there. Told them Rabbi Akiva, therefore I'm laughing. Because there is a hope. And Bezrat Hashem, Beit HaMikdash, this is the beginning of the third Beit Mikdash. The Beit Mikdash will be rebuilt. Rabbi Akiva, he looked on everything with a bright perspective. Rabbi Akiva, he saw only positive things. And therefore, all the rabbis, they came to Rabbi Akiva to be encouraged and to take from him a little bit of positive outlook on the bad things that happened at that time. Therefore, all the Rabbanim, they came to sit by Rabbi Akiva. Even though Rabbi Akiva was only a student. I wanted to end this time with about the 4 Arba Banim. I wrote a lot in the Agada about Arba Banim, but now I want to tell something new. All these things that I'm telling you are new things. Because the Baal Agada starts כנגד 4 בנים דיברה תורה. אחד חכם, אחד רשע, אחד תם, ואחד שאינו יודע לשאול. First of all, the sentence is too long. Usually Tanaim, they are talking in short ways. So the Baal Agada should have said, כנגד 4 בנים דיברה תורה, חכם, רשע, תם, ושאינו יודע לשאול. Why בעל ההגדה adds before everyone אחד, אחד חכם, אחד רשע, אחד תם, ואחד שאינו יודע לשאול. And if you wanted to count them with a number, you should have said, as we have in the Torah, in the psukim of the Tanakh, in the Torah. Means at a keves, we have psukim that you start with number 1, and then you have number 2, and 3, and 4. Why you are saying echad by everyone? You are saying echad. If you have 4, so you should have said echad chacham, sheni rasha, shlishi tam, revi'i she'eino יודע לשאול. But here, Baal Haggadah wanted to teach us. Since Taylor said that this is the time that the first time that Am Yisrael were sitting as a family on a table, in one table, and they are eating together, not as the slaves that the majority of the day they were in work, and here the whole family is sitting together. We wanted to show and to teach parents and to teach everyone that children, everyone is one. Every child is one. If you will look on every child that he is one, you will be able to raise them in the right way. And even the Derasha, it will also change. Therefore, Baal Haggadah didn't count them as numbers. A boy is not a number. A boy is one. Person, a father is not saying, this is my 5th child. No. He is a one child. Everyone has his own personality. This is also the way that the Rosh Yeshiva of Harold Sutton established the yeshiva. And they are looking about every person, every student, as if he is one. He is not a number. He is one. I want to wish everyone בברכת Shabbat Hagadol Mevorach. We have a possibility that in Yirtzeh Hashem could be on Sunday. We will add another shiur only for Haggadah Shel Pesach. And Bezrat Hashem, we will be in touch. Everyone, Shabbat Hagadol Mevorach.